Tonight's the full moon. It's July 29th, 2026. I'm in my Santa Fe casita rental. And I'm deciding to film this on I've got my new tripod. I'm wearing my pajamas, so the likelihood of this being posted is very low. But I have to do it for myself because the intention of this full moon is to face any obstacles that would block me from claiming my worth more fully or completely. And I know that weird fears and just kind of all kinds of different questions have kept me from speaking on the internet for quite a few years. And it's not for lack of things to say, it's actually too much that I want to say and not knowing where to start. So I'm deciding to just start tonight on the full moon with this declaration that tonight I've been suffering here in the heat for 40 days. It's been an unusually hot summer for Santa Fe. But for me, I haven't had a summer in 14 years of living on the coast of Northern California, where summer is the coldest season of the year, where we stock up on firewood and heat the house because it rarely goes above 60. So 95 to plus degrees like every day is something I don't even know how to describe. My body's like, what? And because I think I was thinking about it today, and it's the fact that I don't have these contrasts. Summer is like 60 degrees, and then winter is like 65 where I live. So we don't have a huge temperature range, and I literally haven't worn short sleeves outside in 14 years. I always have a jacket on or long sleeves all year round. And so I've been forced to think about my memories of heat this past 40 days, and I've had like 1 week of each summer where I've been volunteering at Yosemite, sometimes in Yosemite Valley, where it does get upper 90s for the middle of that afternoon. But we usually are done working at that time, and we come back to the camp and we go sit in the river for like 2 hours, and then the sun goes behind the mountains, and then it's a little bit cooler, and then we have dinner and go to bed, and it cools down to like maybe upper 70s at night. And we do it for a week because we're just all sweaty and dirty the entire week, and that's the whole point of the week. And that's what camping is to me, is just being hot. So, but living a whole life in summer weather is not something that I've had to deal with for 14 years. And I've been craving heat and sun for mainly the last 7 or 8 years. I remember just feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to get out of this fog and cold for more than a week every summer. So I started developing these ways of driving over the hill and getting to sun, etc. Anyway, my point is, today I unlocked the key for me for Santa Fe summer, which is to go above 10,000 feet. And I've known about this cognitively for all 40 days, but it was only yesterday that I overcame the resistance of driving an hour from where I'm living now to this area, the National Forest, that's just outside of Santa Fe. And then I I immediately had to go do it today again after doing it yesterday because it was so amazing. So yesterday there was a thunderstorm in town, which is very common in the afternoons in the summer, in a normal summer here, but we've really only had like 2 weeks of thunderstorms all in the month that I've been here. And I went chasing these thunderstorms because it looked like there was sun over the mountains, and I kind of wanted to see it. And since I was already in town, it would only be like a 20-minute drive instead of an hour drive from where I was. I went up, and it wasn't raining in the mountains, and I got to do a whole like 1.5 to 2 mile hike in just a little overcast but kind of upper 60s temperature. So I wore a long sleeve shirt up there with shorts, and I was totally comfortable. I did not sweat, which is a normal thing that I'm doing here every day in the summer, which is sweating, which is fine. I love it. I've come to love it. I've come to learn how to hike in hotter temperatures, although I have to go like early in the morning, like 6 or 7 a.m. or like 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m. So I went today, and today was a 95 plus degree day out here in the lowlands at 4,000 feet. And I drove the hour to a trailhead. I had no idea what this trail was going to look like. I just have this like hiking app that like shows me little routes. And so I went, and I love aspen trees. So aspens are not something we really have in California. Where I hike, it's all pine and cedar and redwood. Aspens, which are like so common in the Rocky Mountains, and they have these leaves that go like this in the wind. I call them jazz hands. And I have a connection with aspen trees. They greeted me, they welcomed me, they embraced me. And it's a thing in New Mexico to carve things into their bark. Like every single aspen tree has so many like initials and pictures like carved into them. And I just feel like I couldn't say sorry to every single tree on behalf of every single human that has carved something into them. But I wanted to. I just was walking by all these aspens, and if you put your hand on their bark, it's like nubuck. It's silky. It feels like nubuck, that suede, like really, really fine suede. That's their bark. I don't know how people can carve into them the way they do. It's like graffiti on the trees, and it's permanent, and the trees grow scars around them, but it's just so sad to me. But obviously it's a cultural thing, like everyone does it. I don't get it. So these were my welcoming committee. 40 days into my trip, I felt like, hello, welcome. Not that I don't love the cactus and the pinon and the juniper in the desert. It's different. It's just it's a different kind of shelter and shade and welcome. Not that aspens actually don't provide that much shade. They like have a really long trunk and then these tiny leaves that just rustle in the wind. But it's a feeling of that rustling somehow, like the timing of it. It always happened to be like when I was speaking to the trees or listening, and then they would sort of respond, and it was amazing. And the second thing that I stumbled upon was a creek. So running water outside has not been something I have seen. I have been to the hot springs, but to see a running creek, because all the riverbeds are dry right now, because it's been such a dry winter, and generally every summer, most of the riverbeds dry. I haven't seen running water. So to come down this trail, it was an extremely steep hike. I gained 1,300 feet in less than a mile, or around a mile. That is like steeper than Mount Dana at Yosemite, if you know that hike. So It was a lot of gain in a very short distance. So coming down and then having it turn into this lush, basically like rainforest of aspens and a creek that just ran and ran and ran, and the trail went right along it. It was just amazing. So my point in talking about all that, and I realize I've just talked for 5 whole minutes about the weather and nature, but that's the point, which is that somehow that welcome and the joy that I felt in my heart, the opening I felt in my heart from that hike, gave me a courage to just start speaking about things that I love, that touch my heart. And here's what I wanted to say. I've been a lot of things on the internet since 2010-ish, 2009, that I started like posting YouTubes and like blog stuff and doing a newsletter. And I've been, Dr. Lisa Chu, The Music Within Us, Violin Doc, Chinese Melodrama, all these things, an artist, sharing a lot of the different things that I've been doing in that time to explore and become more of who I am. And the latest thing I wanted to be on the internet was something I called Lisa Jie, which, if you're familiar with Chinese language culture, Jie is the term for older sister. It's a little bit of like an elder respect term for a girl/woman in a family. And I've never really been that because I'm the youngest sister, but I've been like kind of an older cousin to some of my cousins, but never really like owned myself as an elder. And I turned 50 in December, and I'm eldering really hard in terms of transforming a lot of things in my life to become the kind of elder that I want to be. That's maybe different from the elders that I experienced as part of the younger generation in my life. And that's a whole process. It's a very difficult process. And that's where I am. So I don't even know what it means, and I guess that's why I wanted to record this, to just say it and to give myself permission to start exploring what it might mean just by making videos. And the lighting right now on my face is terrible because I have this spotlight. It's like a track light in this room, but I'll get better. I'm also learning like where the sight lines are for this tripod and my phone. So things are going to be a little clunky to begin with, but I want to start somewhere and not try to think about making it perfect before I start. So that's what I'm modeling. And if you got to this point, thank you so much for staying with me. And I'll keep posting.